Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason. We're out here. We're getting ready to let our chickens out in the yard, okay? Because we want to talk to you today about these gorgeous critters. And so really, truly, in order to talk about them, we need to get them out here in the yard, let them have some fun, and we can kind of focus in on the ones we want to talk about, okay? So let's do that. Come on, children. Last year, for the first time in many people's lives, they bought chickens. They bought little baby chickens because they were worried about an egg shortage. Because legit, there was a lot of chickens that were killed in bird flu for whatever reason, and so there was legitimately an egg shortage on the store shelves for just a little while. And so everybody said, "Hey, I'm buying chickens because I'm never going to be able to buy eggs in the store again, possibly." So people bought hens, right? Bought little baby chicks, pullets, because pullets are young females. They turn into hens. And now here we are a year later, and those little baby chicks are now working on being full-grown hens, completely mature hens, and they're laying the most eggs they will ever lay in their life in this season right now. So behind me we have several different ages of hens. We've got 1-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and a couple of 9-year-olds, okay? And most of them still lay eggs. Got a couple that do not lay eggs. Got a couple that barely lay eggs, okay? And it's going to vary a lot amongst their age, their breed, and things of that nature. Now, especially if you're a new chicken keeper, like somebody who bought chickens last year for the first time, you may have heard that chickens are going to lay one egg every single day. It's probably not true. While these chickens, these beautiful birds here, do lay eggs pretty often, every day, nah. Not every day. See, a basic hen has an egg cycle that's going to be about 26 hours, okay? So there's 24 hours in a day, correct? So you can expect a hen to lay fairly often, especially in her first year, okay? Before her first molts, like if you bought chicks in spring of 2023, the hen's first molt will be in fall of 2024, okay? Or late summer to fall of 2024. So, at least it should be. So, until that first molt, they're not technically considered a full-grown mature hen. But so now, like in this first season, we'll say March through June, they're gonna lay the most eggs in that time period that they will ever lay in that time period ever. Okay, just they're young, they're healthy, they're full of vigor, and they're just popping out eggs like crazy. But every day, probably not every day. For instance, this girl here is a buff Brahma, and she doesn't lay but maybe 4 eggs a week. Whereas this girl here is a 7-year-old Belsummer, and she might lay 5 eggs a week. Isn't that right, Gracie? Yep. The buff Brahma is a 1-year-old hen. She should be laying a good amount of eggs. She's a Brahma. Brahmas aren't exceptionally well egg layers, or exceptionally good egg layers, I guess you should say. But like, we wanted some fun chickens, and Brahmas are fun chickens. So we got Brahmas last year. But now that Belsummer is 7 years old, and she probably lays more eggs and certainly bigger eggs than the Brahma does, because her breed is different. Right? Breed is going to be a big deal about how often they lay, because while any hen is given to go on a run and lay a lot of eggs at one time, breeds certainly do make a difference. So exactly what can you expect out of the hens that you've got right now? If they're 1 year old, what exactly can you expect from them? Many people maybe bought a hybrid chicken, okay? Like it'll be a red star, red sex link, black star, black sex link, ice of brown. Let's see, there's cherry eggers. There's all kinds of things they call them. They're pretty much all very similar, okay? But amber link, amber star, something like that. There's several things like that. They're all gonna be pretty similar chickens. Not exactly the same, but pretty similar, okay? But they're a hybrid, so they're bred to mature quickly and lay bigger eggs faster and more often, but in a shorter amount of lifespan, okay? That's the reality of a hybrid layer. Golden Comet may be the most popular, I'm not sure. We don't have any hybrid chickens here, no hybrid layers. We may have some that aren't a standard of perfection true breed necessarily, but there's no hybrids here. There's a couple of whiting true blues and a couple of Easter eggers. They're not hybrids, but they're not a standard of perfection recognized true breed. Standard of perfection would be this high-end type thing where people get together and say what's a real breed, what's not a real breed. That's basically all that is. Now, if you have a hybrid layer, okay, in her first year, she might lay every day, or at least 95% of the time. And then she will probably quit after 18 months of laying, and maybe never lay another egg. 18 months, 2 years, it's about all you're really going to get out of one. And truly, their best laying's in that first year. So, like if you have, you know, just a normal, regular old 1-year-old hen, pullet, we'll say, she's probably going to lay 6 eggs a week. Honestly, just the average pullet's going to lay 6 eggs a week, maybe 7. They might go on a run. We've had a couple of hens go on some runs recently where they lay pretty often. Let's cover those. This girl here is a whiting true blue, and she's 1 year old. She's beautiful. Look at her, and she's laid about 16 straight days right now. So 16 straight days for this little girl who lays a nice sized egg, about an extra large egg. Doing really good. This girl right here, floppy comb, coming to the camera. She's 5-year-old New Hampshire. Some people call it New Hampshire Red, but New Hampshire. And she's been on several runs in her lifetime. She was 2 years old. She laid 40-something straight days. She's laid 30-something for several times of 12 or more. This year, as a 5-year-old, she laid 15 straight days. As a 5-year-old, really good girl. Truly the best layer we've had until this year. And this year, we've got this girl who looks shaggy and who's scared of everything. Isn't that right? What about you? You like to be filmed, don't you? Yeah, you ain't scared. You're not scared. So while she runs away and hides because she's terrified of everything, well, I'll try to get some B-roll footage to put over this. But that's Judy. Judy is a 1-year-old New Hampshire Red, whatever. Technical terms, New Hampshire. A lot of the hatcheries you buy from them are going to call them New Hampshire Reds. So she's 1 year old, and as of today, she's laid 100 straight days. Yeah, 100 straight days. A lot of people are going to question you, well, how is that possible? How do you know? Well, we know because we intentionally, when we buy chickens, each time we only buy 6 or 8 pretty much, and we buy 2 of each kind. So we'll say like last year we bought 8. We bought 2 Buff Brahmas, 2 New Hampshire Reds, 2 Whiting True Blues, and 2 Bielefelders. 4 breeds, 2 of each, and each of the 4 breeds should distinctively lay different eggs. So it should be easy to tell what breed laid that egg. And Angela's home enough and out there enough during the day that she can see who's laying which egg and kind of get used to it. And so therefore it makes it pretty easy for us to tell. And we've already gotten used to the other chickens beforehand because we skip a year every year, so it's like every 2 years we get new chickens. That's fairly easy to tell who's laying what, and we see this one in the nest box every single stinking day anyways. So there you have it. There's how we know. But she's laid 100 straight days. I mean, some people won't tell you that they have a chicken, I've heard this story, okay, so someone says, that's 12 years old and lays every day at 12 years old. I'm not gonna call that person a liar, okay? I wouldn't do that. But what I would say is maybe that individual doesn't really know which chickens lay and which eggs, because they're not gonna lay every day at 12 years old. They're not, okay? If you have a 12-year-old hen laying eggs at all, that's great. I mean, that's wonderful, to be honest with you. So be careful on those types of stories where you hear that this girl lays every single day, no matter what, and has never taken a break. Because the other thing is, they're not going to do that in the wintertime, okay? They've got to molt sometime. They're not going to lay every day in the molt if they lay all while they're molting. And then when the daylight hours are short, they're not going to be laying that much then either. They might lay in the wintertime, that's fine, but they're not going to lay every single stinking day in the wintertime. At least not after their first year. They might. Hey, a hybrid layer might in their first winter when they're 6, 8 months old. They might, okay? But be cautious of those stories. They're probably not true. And I'm going to say the person's just mistaken, that they don't really know what's going on. I'm not going to call them a liar. It's not nice. But you do have hens that can lay often. Now, typically the ones that lay often, as far as they aren't hybrid layers, will not lay bigger eggs, okay? Like for instance, Judy started out laying really small eggs, smallish. One, we'll say in the store, probably be considered a medium to small egg, honestly. As she's gotten going on, she's laying nearly an extra large egg and hasn't quit laying yet. So we'll see how it goes. But 100 straight days is pretty stinking cool. See if we can sneak up on her. Really can't much sneak up on her. But she's so active. That's part of why she lays so often, is because she's so active. Just, she's scared. We're gonna run away. All the time. Now also, things are gonna really affect how often they lay is quality of feed, the conditions they're in, how active are they, how active do you allow them to be. As you can see, we let our chickens out in the yard. If you haven't watched this before, we let our chickens out in the yard every evening possible, and they get out here in the fenced yard. See the Premier One fence, not electrified. It could be, but it's not. Give them plenty of space. They get to roam around this way and come all the way back around this way up to the house. You know, they get a good amount of space, so we allow them to be really active. Give them grass and, you know, whatever's in the yard to eat. I just mowed the yard right before this, so they're gonna eat some of the cut grass. they really like short grass too, by the way. They don't like tall grass as much, but they like short grass. So the conditions they're in, how you feed them, you know, how well you water them, how good their water is. All these things do matter, as well as the breed. You know, because like these things, like, we'll say Whiting True Blue, really good hen, really good chicken. We love them to death. They're a little specific on the conditions that they like, to be honest with you. Like, they like to be clean. That's one thing about them. They really like to be clean. So you got to be careful if you're going to get them to make sure you keep them clean. And I mean, we feed New Country Organics feed, okay? It's a really high-end, high-quality feed that's made a difference in our chickens' health. We used to feed them a really low-quality feed, and it was local. We didn't realize it was that low quality until our chickens just got unhealthy and stopped eating. So over the years, we've found things to do to keep them more active, more healthy, and really more prepared to lay good eggs. Because here you have a 9-year-old hen named Sweetness, probably the best chicken they ever made. At least Angela would say that for sure. And at 9 years old, she doesn't lay as much as she used to, but she still lays eggs. I mean, probably 4 or 5 a week. I'm gonna say 5 eggs a week at 9 years old. Now, she didn't start laying until like April this year, okay? It used to be early March. Now she started laying in early April this year. And last year she quit laying in August, and she'll probably quit laying in August again this year. So she's only gonna lay April, May, June, July, and August. We'll say 5 months out of 12, but she is 9 years old. She kind of deserves a break, right? Here's a little 3-year-old Whiting True Blue who lays really well. She's had a couple of stints of 12 or more. I will say one thing about the Whiting True Blue is that they say, you know, they'll lay small eggs at first, and then they might get up to large eggs by the time if you feed them really well, really well. They do start out with smaller eggs, and honestly, Naomi lays our biggest egg. That's our 3-year-old Whiting there. She lays our biggest egg. At one time, she was our smallest chicken who laid our biggest egg. So she lays a really nice, pretty much jumbo egg every time. So extra large to jumbo egg every time. She's wonderful, and they lay blue eggs. Okay, True Blue means they lay blue eggs. So they all lay nice blue eggs. Really fun chickens to have, and good layers. So I hope we've answered some of your questions today about what you can expect from your hens. Just remember, breed is going to matter, and they're not going to lay every day. That's just not reasonable to think. They might lay every 26 hours, but that means they will take a day off, okay? So, but if you have a hen who's 1 year old and she's laying 6 to 7 eggs a week, that's really good. If she lays 10 or 12 straight days, that's really good. Okay, if you have a 2-year-old hen who's laying 6 eggs a week, that's really good. And she still might lay 10 or 12 straight days. That's really good, okay? I understand that. And then as they get older, it's gonna happen less and less. Like Tootie here again, she's laid, you know, 15 straight days as a 5-year-old. That's not to be expected. She's an anomaly, okay? That's not real life. She's just really good. That's the only 5-year-old we've ever had to lay like that. And we've had chickens for 9 years. So she's the 3rd generation 5-year-old we've had, you know? So again, well-fed, well-kept, happy chickens will lay eggs fairly often. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Here we go. We'll go back and get some chickens in the shop as we sign out, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it so much. Again, hope we helped you out some. My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.